was in absolute shock.
Buffalo police under fire once again.
This time a rolling camera on Chippewa Street.
Did an officer go too far? And good evening, everyone. It is a familiar tune in Buffalo these days. A police officer accused of crossing the line. And tonight, News 4 Investigates has uncovered a new case.
And Luke Moretti tells us that these are new accusations coming to light. This particular case is one that we've never seen before.
Yeah, Jackie, you know, if you ask the three men involved in this incident, they'll tell you that they did nothing wrong. But a police complaint tells a different story, accusing them of refusing to leave the area and being aggressive.
The rhythm is tricky.
You can find thousands of young people flocking to Buffalo's Chippewa district on a Friday or Saturday night. The lure of bands, bars, and booze transforms the area into a melting pot of city and suburban revelers and a beefed-up police presence.
We have a detail every weekend up on Chippewa for security reasons.
That police detail was quite apparent when News 4 Investigates did a spot check recently. Buffalo police officers could be seen walking the beat, some carrying batons, others patrolling in a vehicle. Everything appeared to be under control and business as usual. But this wasn't the case for a group of friends out celebrating in the Chippewa district about a year ago.
They just said, get out of the street, like, you're not moving fast enough.
It was July 14th, 2013, 4:30 in the morning here at the corner of Chippewa in Franklin. Jonathan Lee, visiting from San Francisco, and some friends had attended the wedding of a family friend hours earlier. They were returning to their hotel rooms, but soon found themselves confronted by police.
I was in absolute shock.
Lee claims he was pushed to the ground by a Buffalo police officer after taking this photograph on Chippewa Street.
Pushed me, I stumbled. They pushed me a second time because I wasn't moving fast enough.
He says that he was still recovering from a full knee replacement done 2 months earlier, and that he was hobbling around the night of the incident.
I fell over into the curb, and I was lying on my back.
He remembers that a couple of his friends came over to assist him and to see what was wrong. He says that's when one of them was pepper sprayed by police and arrested.
An officer said, I'm just going to have to make an example out of somebody, and pepper sprayed him.
This man, who had been living in New York City but now attends graduate school in Buffalo, was one of the friends there that night. He asked that his identity be protected. He tells News 4 Investigates that questioning what police were doing led to him ending up handcuffed in the back of a police car.
I was like, you know, no one told me what I was being charged with. Like, this is, you know, I'm an American, like, I think I have rights.
Jonathan Lee claims that he was pushed to the ground by police and then decided to document what was happening.
I took out my phone, I took photos, I started taking videos just to almost protect myself. And then, you know, soon after arresting two of my friends, they grabbed me, took away my phone, and arrested me.
During an August 2013 telephone interview with Buffalo Police Internal Affairs, he claimed that he was struck in the head with a baton. Here is an audio excerpt from that interview.
While I was leaning against the car, he hit me in the head with his baton, I believe, his wooden metal stick, right over the left temple.
Both men say they were driven from the Chippewa scene in separate police cars to a nearby station house parking lot. Then, one of the men says an officer struck him in the face while he was still handcuffed and in the back of the police car.
Opens up my door and says, "You talk too much," and punches me square in the face.
You're still handcuffed in the back of the car?
Still handcuffed. The whole thing was just, it just spiraled so out of control that it was just like, it was surreal almost.
You're bleeding?
I'm bleeding.
Jonathan Lee, sitting in a separate police car, backs up the story, telling Internal Affairs investigators what he saw.
I saw my friends in the car in front of me, and I saw one of the police officers open the back door? Open the back door of the other car,
Okay.
lean in, and hit my friend.
According to a Buffalo police booking report, the 3 men were arrested and charged after refusing to leave when told by officers. The report identifies the arresting officer as Edmund Labby. The man who claims that he was punched in the face received a letter from Internal Affairs in May. Based on a thorough review of this case, the commissioner has ordered disciplinary charges be filed against Officer Labby.
I don't know his record. I don't know if he had a bad day and something happened. I mean, it's inexcusable to me to ever hit someone who's in handcuffs in the face in the back of your police car.
According to a complaint filed in Buffalo City Court, the defendant, while in the rear of the patrol vehicle, kicked Officer Labby, causing the defendant to be further subdued. But the man vehemently denies kicking the officer, telling News 4 there was no altercation.
If we find that we believe the complaint is correct and we're believable to what happened, we will file charges on the officer.
Buffalo Police Commissioner Daniel Durenda says he can't comment specifically about this case, but did talk generally about what he expects of his officers, particularly when it comes to the police detail on Chippewa Street.
How do you want them to deal with people down there? What's the perfect scenario for you?
Perfect scenarios, always, no matter you're on Chippewa or on patrol, is to act professionally. That's all we want. That's what we expect from our officers. We don't tolerate inappropriate behavior by our officers, and there is a process in place to discipline them if we find that they've done the wrong thing.
We did reach out to Officer Labby. He declined to comment on the case. Now, the 3 men were granted an adjournment in contemplation of dismissal, which means any record of this matter is now sealed.
And what about the disciplinary charges against Officer Labby?
Yeah, Don, it's our understanding that the officer will get a formal hearing and that an arbitrator will decide whether or not charges are warranted in this case.
Thank you, Lou.
Okay.
Well,